This is the all-new 2022 McLaren Artura, and it's the latest addition to McLaren's supercar series. Hey, I'm Andy, professional performance car driver with a passion for well-engineered cars and driving with friends on mountain roads. On this channel, I share with you my driving experiences and bring you videos on new gear and car reviews. What's unique about this car is it is a hybrid. It has a 3-liter V6 turbocharged engine putting out 577 horsepower and 431 pound-feet of torque. And that's coupled to an electric motor putting out 94 horsepower and 166 pound-feet of torque. So combined, it puts out 671 horsepower and 531 pound-feet of torque. But I'm not here to do a review of the McLaren Artura. Instead, today, I'm going to walk you through my build of the new Artura. Come on, let's get started. The new Artura comes in 4 trims. There's a standard trim, there's a performance trim, there's a Tech Luxe trim, and there's a Vision trim. I'm going to do my build in the Vision trim. For the exterior, the launch color on this car is called Flux Green, and that's the one you'll see in all the advertising and whatnot. And this is a special color, so there's an upcharge for this particular color. As I was looking through the colors, I came across this red that was called Amaranth Red. It looks like this. I really like the way this color looked. You know, that darker red. But when I did a Google search on that color, I plug in McLaren Amaranth Red, I saw some 12Cs, some McLaren 12Cs out there in the color, and I really didn't like the way it looked. So I was like, okay, let's forget that. So the color that I really liked is actually called Volcano Blue, and it looks like this. And I like this blue color. I like that dark blue. So let's just talk about the colors in general. So McLaren has 6 standard colors. So these would be like a no charge for those 6 colors. Then the next level of paint they move up to is what they call elite paint colors. And there are 14 colors to choose from in the elite. And then their top of the line is called MSO colors. And MSO stands for McLaren Special Operations. It's like their bespoke types of things that they can do on their cars. So I'm going with Volcano Blue on the color. We're going to stay with the exterior and we're going to move to the wheels. So McLaren has 3 different wheel options. They have a 7-spoke wheel, a 5-spoke wheel, and a 10-spoke wheel. So the 7-spoke wheel comes in 1 finish. The 5-spoke wheel has 3 finishes, and the 10-spoke wheel has 5 finishes. I chose the 10-spoke. It's a super lightweight forged wheel, and the trim that I chose, or the finish that I chose, was a diamond cut finish. And what I really like about this diamond cut finish is that the face of the spokes and then the outer edge of the rim are in a brushed color, and then the spoke, the inner sides of the spokes and the inside of the rim is dark. And this contrast, I think, looks really sharp. In fact, when you see these driving down the street, the reflection you get is really cool on this. So that's what I'm going with on the wheels. And next, let's talk about the brake calipers. So on McLaren's, they have, there's 7 different brake caliper options. So the standard is black. So on the cars, if you just went with a standard no-cost option, you'd get a black caliper. But you can get they come in silver. There's an Azores, which is a very deep orange color. There is McLaren orange, which is a brighter orange. There's red, there's yellow, and then for the Artura, since this Flux Green is a launch color, they have a Flux Green color caliper. But for my build, I'm going to go with the McLaren orange caliper because I really like, and you can tell, right? I like blues and oranges. So we're going to go with the orange caliper. Next up, continuing on the outside of the car, is there's an option, MSO carbon fiber exterior pack. And this exterior pack includes 3 elements on the outside of the car. One is on the front of the car, there is the lower splitter on the front of the car that is done in the shiny carbon fiber. And I think this looks really sharp. Because of where it is, I definitely would get it PPF'd. I'd get paint protection film put on that so that you can protect it from any of the rocks and pebbles and things that come off the road. If we move around to the back of the car, then the lower portion of the bumper on the back of the car is also done in the shiny carbon fiber, and I think this looks really cool. In fact, I love the way the back of this car looks with the laser cut mesh along the back. It's one of the things about McLarens I think is always super sharp, is that when you drive behind them, especially like 720S and even the 610s, and you can see into the engine compartment, I think that looks really cool. So we'll do the carbon fiber here. It also includes the carbon fiber mirror caps. So you'll notice that the mirror caps on this here are also carbon fiber. There is an option to do the louvers, the louver that sits just in front of the rear view mirrors. You can do those louvers in carbon fiber as well. However, I recall, I think it was the 600 LT, maybe the 600 LT Spider, you could get those carbon fiber louvers, but they were like 12 grand. So I wouldn't do it for 12 grand. Plus, I like the body color here because I feel if it was carbon fiber between the end caps carbon fiber and then this so close carbon fiber, for me, I think it would be too busy. So we're not going to do the option of the louvers in carbon fiber. But those 3 elements, that's the standard, not standard, that is the MSO carbon fiber pack. So now we're going to talk about the exhaust. So based on the trim level that I chose, which was Vision, that comes with the Sport exhaust. But on the back of the car, the standard exhaust finishes are silver color. And depending on the color you get, silver might look just fine. But for me, with the darker blue and then the way the laser cut the finish in the back, I'm going to go with the Stealth exhaust tips. So they'll go from that lighter color to a darker color on the exhaust tips. Next up, we're going to talk about the engine cover. So we're going to go and do a top-down view inside the back of the car. In the standard engine cover finish is like a brushed aluminum type of color, but you can upgrade to a titanium cover. I'm going to choose the titanium cover, and the reason being is if it's anything like titanium exhaust and titanium tips, when they get hot, they get this like bluish and gold kind of color. I think that would actually look kind of cool. I'm not sure if that's going to happen. I'm not even sure how much it costs, but we're going to go ahead and spec the titanium engine cover. What's a little unique about this car is that as a V6, most V6 engines would be in a 60-degree V. Some go to 90, but this car is actually 120-degree V. So it's not a flat 6, but 120 degrees, it's flatter. And what that allows them to do is set this engine down lower inside the frame, inside the of the car, which is great for center of gravity. but not so good if you want to be able to look in and see the engine, because that sucker is sitting pretty low down inside the car. And then the last thing is there's a thermal windscreen option. And basically what this is, my guess, it doesn't have a lot of detail on the configurator, is that it's like a tinted windscreen. There's probably something you get with the tinted windscreen because it talks about reducing the heat and whatnot coming out. I don't know how much that costs, but it's probably like $3-4 grand. I'll just do a window tint. I have the RS, the inside windshield of my RS is tinted. I'll just do a light tint on the inside of the window of the car if I feel like I need to. So that's it for the exterior of the car. We're going to move to the interior of the car next. So the first thing up for the interior is, the finish on the seats, the dash, the type of stitching that you want. And so the options were, there's this dove gray and then with a flux green accent, or there's like a carbon black with an orange accent. And I really like this orange one. Again, the theme with the outside of the car, the blue, and then the orange brake calipers. I think this one goes really well. So next up, there's a couple of packs for the outside of the car. There's a gloss black finish pack, and then there's the MSO carbon fiber pack. I particularly like the MSO carbon fiber pack. And this one here basically gives you the extended shift paddles on the steering wheel. So if you look at the steering wheel to the right and the left, you see the minus and plus signs. These are extended, which is really kind of nice because like even on the RS, sometimes they're a little too small. And I drove a 720S with the larger paddles, and they are much easier to get to. The other thing you get in carbon fiber is the inner portion of the spokes on the steering wheel. You'll see here that they're carbon fiber. You see the red start button in the center console, and that surround area there is also in carbon fiber. And then lastly, you'll have the door opener area. So if you look to the left, like where the power window switches are on the door, you'll see that area, the door opener, and that area is in the carbon fiber. So we're going to select that. I really like the looks of these seats. I mean, I'm a smaller guy, so I know the bucket seats on the RS fit me really well, and these look like they'll fit me really well too. So I'm going to choose the Club Sport seat with some lumbar adjustment. So this way, I'm thinking it might have the ability to actually pull it in and be a little bit tighter. Next up is seat belts, and here I selected orange. Again, guys, there's a theme going on here, right? I just like the way it looks. I think they look sharp, and I even think when you're in the car and you have them on, and then outside looking in with the blue and then the orange, I think it just ties everything together. For the steering wheel itself, you have the ability to choose, kind of the jet black leather or the carbon black Alcantara. And I'm going to choose the Alcantara since some of the other parts of the interior of the cabin are in carbon fiber. And I like the grip and the feel of the carbon black Alcantara. I know a lot of folks get all worried, oh my God, it's going to get dirty. It's going to get flat and wear out. And I don't know what these guys are driving or what kind of hands you have. Maybe you have hands made of sandpaper or something. I don't know. I've never had that issue. So maybe it's the Alcantara, the cars that folks have been driving. And they also make cleaner. I mean, there's cleaner out there on the market for cleaning Alcantara. And there's brushes that you can use that help, if you will, stand up the fibers. So to me, it's a non-issue. And I like the way it looks. So we'll be doing that. Next up are sill finishers. So you can see here in this image, the doors, they're kind of open, and you can see the area on the sill of the inner door. And that's the piece here that has McLaren on it. Typically that's like in a, I want to say like a leather finish, I believe is what it is. You can also get this in carbon fiber. There is the option to do carbon fiber here. However, I know they made a little bit of a change on the Artura, but in like say the 720, that area carbon fiber, the sill is pretty wide. It's probably at least 6 inches, even more. And you get your foot over that, or maybe someone else doesn't get their foot over that as well, you're going to scuff and scratch that carbon fiber. And those of you that have carbon fiber understand, you get that stuff scratched, it's really, really tough to get those scratches or those scuffs out of there. So as much as I like the way it looks, if I were to do it, I'd have to PPF it. And I think if anybody does it, you should put PPF over that. But I think I may just stick with the leather in this case, because I think those finishers are also pretty expensive. Next up is floor mats. So in this image here, you can kind of see them below the steering wheel. You can see a little bit of the orange edging. I got these in the RS. I like the way they look. They're not inexpensive, and I imagine here they're going to be some ridiculous amount. I mean, like literally the set of mats, they're probably going to be like $1,000 or something absolutely insane. So we're going to do that. And then the last two options here are a harness bar and then a 6-point harness. I'm not going to be tracking this car. I'm not even sure if those are even options you can choose in the US. And the reason I say that is I'm thinking like with the Porsche GT cars, that you can get the Club Sport package, which is essentially the roll bar and the belts. You can't get that in the US. You can get it in Europe, and it's a no charge option, which is insane. But in the US, you can't. So I'm assuming the same thing here. And here there is a Laptime function. So again, it's an application that allows you to, capture information while you're on a track. And they even have the ability to add cameras. And the cameras typically are right in the center lower part of the front bumper. And then in between the driver and passenger seat, there's another camera. So I think that's really cool. And if I was tracking this a bunch, it might be a neat option to have. But since I won't be tracking this car, we're going to pass on that option. So next up are some what they call options packages. And because I selected the Vision trim, some of these are already pre-checked. So this first one is the practicality pack, and this one includes the vehicle lift, which I think we need, folding heated mirrors. Again, you can see the arms on these mirrors, how far they stick out. I think having the ability to at least fold them in is probably not a bad thing. Home link. Yeah, I have an app on my phone to open and close the garage doors, but I guess just having the home link just makes it so I don't have to screw around with the phone. So sure, we'll get that. Soft closed doors, do I really need it? No, it's included in the pack, so sure, fine and good. The next pack that was also pre-selected for the interior trim I chose was the technology pack. And here we're going to get full LED headlights with the auto high beam, which is kind of nice, so you don't have to sit there and turn it on and off depending on cars in your, coming in your view. The Bowers & Wilkins sound system, so that's a 12-speaker sound system. Road sign recognition, whatever. Intelligent adaptive cruise control. I'm not a real fan of these things. I know a lot of people like them because you can set your distance, how far you are in the car in front of you, but I don't know. I'm just not a fan, but that comes with it. Great. 360-degree park assist. I think that's probably a good thing to have, especially if you are going to do any parallel parking or maybe get yourself in tight spots. Lane departure warning, I really don't care about, but it's included, so all fine and good. And then we'll move on to other options. Here I'm just going to rattle through some of these. Alarm upgrade system, no. Vehicle tracking system, no. Warning triangle and first aid, you can probably get something cheaper off market. Fire extinguisher, again, not tracking, even just for general safety, don't need it. Car cover, this one's interesting because I remember on the 720, even the 600 LTs, there were a lot of McLaren dealers that were including these. So whether it was a spiff or whatever, maybe they checked the box. I don't remember they were charging you for it. But a car cover is kind of nice. But I think that may be something, maybe just ask the car dealer to throw in. So not going to check that. Ashtray, no. Owner's manual, well, yeah, you're going to get an owner's manual. It just basically allows you to choose the language. They give you some language options. And then system language, similar thing here. You know, I'm using the US configurator, so the system language is going to be English. And then there it is. There's a look of the car. I mean, you can see that angle. You can see the orange seat belts. You can see some of the orange stitching on the seats here, you know, through the windscreen and whatnot. And yeah, this car it's really interesting. I think the one disappointing thing with this car is most likely going to be the exhaust. Turbocharged V6. My guess is it's going to be the exhaust. I would keep my fingers crossed that someone like a Novatech or other would do an aftermarket exhaust, and maybe that'll be better. Well, there you have it. My 2022 McLaren Artura build. So now all I need to do is get this over to the McLaren dealer to price it out for me. So when you build your car on the online configurator, which by the way, we'll put a link down below in the description for that. When you're done building, you can produce like a PDF document, a little brochure, and then you can get that over to your dealer to price it out. I've seen two prices. I've seen it starts at a base price of $225. I've seen it starts at a base price of $229 out on the internet. I'm not really sure which one it starts out at. So take that as starts at $225 or $229. So the question for you is, where do you think this final build is going to price out at? What I'd like you to do is go ahead and put your guesses down in the comments below, what you think that final build is. And when I get this back from the dealer, I'm going to go ahead and put the price out on our Instagram account, which is rs.xperience. I'm going to put the price out there, and whoever came closest to the actual price will win one of these RS Xperience polo shirts. So hey guys, thanks for watching this today. I hope you enjoyed this. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel so as I release new videos each week, you can see the latest thing. And hey, as always, stay healthy and stay safe.